Hi everyone, it's me, Ariel, and it's Wednesday Warriors. And today I'm going to be talking about what I do to take care of myself because we recently were talking about relapses and what constitutes a relapse, what can cause a relapse, how to get help when you're having a relapse, how to pull yourself out of one, things like that. And it's important to sort of look to other people who can give you ideas for what to do to take care of yourself so that you are always putting your best effort forth. Some things that I do to take care of myself are just to always make sure that I have enough moments to myself in a day. I am a pretty busy person. I always am on the go. I have a lot of commitments, lots of things that I enjoy, but I wake up early, I go to work, I work all day, and I'll be going to grad school at night right after work. I get home late. I make dinner, spend time with my husband, answer emails, I blog, make videos, things like that. So what I do to take care of myself is to make sure that at night, my husband usually goes to sleep earlier than I do. So at night when my husband goes to sleep, I make sure that I have at least an hour to myself where I can sit in my chair in my living room and I can read a book if that's what I want to do. I can have a cup of tea and watch TV, whatever TV show I've been saving to have a little time with myself. If I have more than an hour, I can watch a movie, just me, call a friend on the phone, or browse the internet and just read things that are important to me, but just to make sure that I have an hour of quiet. And I know it seems really simple, but sometimes it's really hard to get that hour of quiet, and I really function so much better when I get that hour. And sometimes I'm lucky and I get more than an hour and I can, feel like I'm actually relaxing for a certain point in my day, or I can feel like I actually have some free time, which is few and far between sometimes for me. Um, but even if you can only give yourself half an hour because your schedule is crazy, half an hour can do a lot for you to sort of revive yourself, refresh yourself, replenish your soul a little bit. And it doesn't really matter what you do during that hour as long as you're doing something that feels good to you. One of the other things that I do to take care of myself is write. I am a writer first and foremost. I always say that, and whether I am journaling or writing poetry or writing stories or blogging or writing a letter to a friend or emailing someone who lives far away, I like to be writing and it feels good to me. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm being true to myself, and it's something that I really think is important in my life. Now, writing may not be your thing, but if you have something like that, I definitely suggest you do it. I like to try to make sure I talk to people that I want to talk to because I know that life can get really busy. And also, sometimes I think that when things are going really well, you don't necessarily want to ruin a moment by talking about something that is maybe less than good. But I do think it's important because you're being honest and true to yourself if you talk about the things that are on your mind. So for me, I like to make sure that I call my closest friends during the week, even, just one day a week or what have you. Like to make sure I talk to my closest friends about whatever is going on in our lives. I like to make sure that I can have talks with my husband that don't revolve around our work day or what we're eating for dinner or what we're watching on TV or, silly little arguments or anything like that. I mean, all of those things have their place, but I like to make sure that with my husband, we get to say the things that are really on our minds and we're able to sort of feel that that love is there. Love can go a long way. Just being able to say I love you multiple times a day to my husband, or being able to talk to my closest friends on the phone for 15 minutes at night and tell them how my week is going and find out how their week is going and give little bits of advice to each other, or just sort of say, I really miss you. It's really good for the soul. It's really good for the heart. And it's something that should be done if you have people in your life that you care about, because everything comes full circle and comes right back to you, and the love that you show will be given to you. I like to take a long bath sometimes if I'm having a really hard day or I'm not feeling well. It's something that always makes me feel a little bit better, a little more refreshed. And I know I've said this in other videos, but if I'm having a hard time, I really like to watch a Shirley Temple movie. It's something that I always did as a kid, and it just always makes me feel better because they're just light, funny, cheerful little movies. They have singing, and I really like old movies, so movies from the 30s like that with Shirley Temple are just so great. So that's something that I do for myself. And I also like to paint my nails when I'm looking just to sort of revive and feel better. And it's not really the glamour or the appearance that I'm going with when I'm talking about painting my nails. It's more that while I'm doing it, I'm allowing my mind to sort of be freed up, and I'm allowing myself to do something nice for myself and just take some minutes to, do something that's fresh and colorful and, can put a smile on my face. Years ago, when I was in college, I was known for painting my nails and then even only a day later taking off the polish and painting them again, just because it was the act of painting my nails that I liked, that made me happy to, choose a color and paint my nails. And it just always made me feel good. So if I was having a hard time, which I was back in those years, I always wanted to keep painting my nails. And if 1 day or 2 days or 3 days had passed that I only had the polish on my nails that long, I would still go ahead and paint my nails over again, because that's what gave me a little pick-me-up. I really like to do art. I've always been an artist, but I don't have too much time to do that these days, so I pretty much satisfy myself with having those couple of hours of alone time during the week each night for myself, as much time as I can find, or reading a book or something along those lines, and definitely the writing, but I don't have the time to do the art that I would like to do. I do get to do it sometimes, but it's not as frequent as I would enjoy, but art has been therapeutic for me in the past as well. I know I've talked about the coping bank idea before. It's having a box or a can or some kind of receptacle where you put slips of paper inside of it, and on them are listed different things that you can do so that when you are having a hard time or when you do need to take care of yourself, you'll do it, and it won't involve a lot of thought. So, for example, on the slips of paper, you would write, watch a Shirley Temple movie, or take a hot bath, or call a friend, or read 5 quotes in your book of quotes, or look at old photographs of when you were a child. Anything that can make you feel better. And you have them in this coping bank, and you can go to them when you need to take care of yourself and remember that it's important to do. We forget to take care of ourselves sometimes because we think, well, I'm alive, I'm living, I got dressed today and I went through my day and I talked to people and I survived, so I'm taking care of myself. But taking care of yourself is more than just eating and breathing and sleeping. I really want you to remember that taking care of yourself doesn't have to be hard. And a lot of the things that I just named are really easy, and they seem so simple that it sounds as though they couldn't possibly help. And, I'll be honest with you, I'm not having a hard time right now. My life is healthy. So for you to listen to me, you might think, well, she's fine, so those things will work for her because she doesn't have anything terribly pressing, at this point in her life. And, it's true that I don't have issues with my eating disorder anymore right now, but there are hardships in everyone's life, and you know, there are things in my life right now that are hard for me, and whether I keep them behind closed doors or I put them in a YouTube video, it doesn't really matter. These things that I just listed in this video are what works for me and what I have found to be tried and true. So you have to work with what you've got, and if you find something that works, you have to keep doing it because that's the only way it's going to make any difference. And don't forget that you are not alone. I hope you're having a wonderful week, and I will see you next time.